Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Delaney. I love thrifting, home decor, my cats, plants, all the good stuff, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different. Normally I do lots of thrift with me's, thrift hauls, lots of home decor, things like that. But today's video is all about reselling. So if you're new here and don't know, I am a reseller. I've been a reseller for a couple of years now. So I'll go to the thrift stores, buy things, clothes, shoes, accessories, home goods, and then resell them on Poshmark and eBay. If you guys want to check that out, I have it all linked down below. But you guys have been asking me so much, like so many questions about reselling, how to get started, what to look for, how do you know what sells, yada yada yada. So I am going to make an entire video about it. I know this video isn't going to be for everybody, but I hope that it's informative to you guys, and I hope that I can answer all of your questions. I asked you guys over on my Instagram to send me questions, and you did, so I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can. So buckle in, because this video may be a little bit long, but it's only because I am trying to cover everything. Hopefully after you're done watching this, you will have everything that you need to start reselling if that's what you wish to do. And this video is mainly going to be focused on around selling home goods, which is obviously just part of what I sell. I don't talk about it much on here, but I do sell lots of clothes and shoes and accessories as well, and that is actually what I got started into reselling with. Home goods is more of a recent thing, like the last year I've been selling home goods. But anyways, this video is going to be mainly focused around that, since I think that's what the most of you are interested in. Alright, first up, somebody asked me how I got started. So if you watched my Q&A video, you might know some of this, but I got started in, hey little kitty, and if I keep looking down, I have my laptop here. I tried to write it all out to make this as concise and informative as possible. But I started in 2013 in college, just trying to make some extra money. I lived in a really wealthy area, which was West Palm Beach, for college, and I started noticing at thrift stores I was finding all of these amazing brands, and I was thinking, wow, I could easily resell this online. So I just started. I started doing research. There are tons of YouTube videos and Instagram people to follow. I will put down some of my favorites down below. But I just started doing research, and I just started. That's the biggest thing in life, I feel like. No matter what you're doing, if you want to do something, just start. I wanted to do YouTube for years, and I was really intimidated, and one day I finally just started. So really the only thing holding you back is yourself. So if that's the push you need to start doing reselling, do it. Asked how my husband feels about reselling. I'm sure it seems like I bring so much stuff into the house and I'm constantly buying stuff, so I'm sure you guys are just curious, but my husband actually loves it. He was one of the things that helped me get into reselling. He is very interested in men's vintage things, and he's actually a reseller right now too. He just got into it, so it's really fun for us to do it together, to go thrifting together, and I love picking up things for him to sell as well. The next category I want to talk about is selling on platforms. So when I first started, I started selling on Poshmark. I personally recommend that for beginners. I think it is the easiest platform to sell on. I'll talk more about shipping later, but they make it really easy, especially if you're starting out. When your item sells, they just send you an email with your shipping label in it, so that takes the guesswork out of it all, and you can use any box or package, and again, I'll talk more about shipping on Poshmark. So it is just highly recommended by me for first-time resellers. It makes it very easy for you. I currently sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Depop, and I don't really recommend one over the other in general. They all perform pretty equally. Some will perform better one month, some will perform better the other, and I don't really recommend getting on all of these platforms when you first start reselling. If that's what you want to do, I recommend just starting out slow on Poshmark, just one platform, and then slowly moving into other platforms as well, just because it can be a lot to keep track of. It takes a lot of time to list on other platforms as well, and when you first start reselling, you just kind of want to dip your toes in the water and learn as you go. And I did want to mention too, on Depop, I only sell vintage items on there. Depop is kind of known for vintage things, so that's just one thing to think about. I don't sell home goods on there. I only sell home goods on Poshmark and eBay, and that's just a personal preference and just from experience learning what does well on certain platforms. I know that home goods wouldn't do well on Depop. And when we're specifically talking about home goods, I personally think home goods sell best on Poshmark. Other sellers may have different experiences, but from my own personal experiences, I like selling home goods on Poshmark the most. So if you're looking into getting into reselling and you only want to sell home goods, I would definitely recommend Poshmark. Okay, the next little category I'm going to be talking about is what to pick up. I get asked this so much. How do I know what sells well? What to look for when thrifting? What sells well? I already said that. So I want to talk about that. The first thing I recommend before you start picking things up is pick a style. Now, this is not required. You can sell all styles if you want on your selling platform, but I personally recommend, especially for home goods, picking a style. So for me, my style is bohemian, as you guys know by like every title of my video. Bohemian, mid-century modern. Those are my two big styles. And the reason I picked that style is because I personally like it in my own home. So that's great for me because I can sell some of my own decor and it's gonna fit in the style, as well as pick up that decor. And I recommend this because when a buyer comes to your page and they like something of yours, there's a big chance that they're going to go to your page and look if there's anything else that they like. And if you have one style, you're more likely to sell more items to that one buyer. I can't even tell you how many bundles I've sold for home goods on my Poshmark. And a bundle is just when people buy more than one item. Obviously, I know some of this may sound dumbed down, but again, I just want this to be really informative, and I really hope that you guys can learn a lot from this video. So after you pick your style, again, you don't have to do this. It's just what I recommend. Only buy in that style. I know it can be tempting. I find some like cool farmhouse decor, or I don't even know, eclectic, or yeah, things like that. And sometimes I do want to pick them up, but then I remind myself it's better for me in the long run to have the same style, because then my customer will likely come back for more as well. Okay, now the next thing is to figure out how much something is worth. We will be looking up comps, and that just means looking up how much an item has sold for in the past. And it's an item that you have or you're looking at. So I'm doing a screen recording right now and I'll insert it, but I'm just on Poshmark and I'm going to search brass candlesticks. And on here, there's all of these brass candlesticks listed, and I'm gonna just slide this over and go to sold items because I wanna see how much brass candlesticks have sold for recently. And we see like a bundle of candlesticks sold for $40. You can see 18, 31, 45. You know, you guys can really see exactly how much things are selling for. And that is one thing that I really recommend. That is one way to look up comps. I really recommend that, especially when you're first starting out and you don't know, are things worth the money? Just look at the average. If most things are selling for $30 to $40, I would pick it up. I personally recommend you want to make at least, my own standards is $10 to $20 in profit at least to pick it up. And $10 is on my lower end. If I can make $15 on an item, I will pick it up every time, especially if I'm only paying $1 or $2. So that's something to keep in mind. You want to be able to get your money back and make extra in order for it to be worth your time and effort to pick it up. Things under this what to look for category. So when you're in the thrift store, obviously your style. If you find an item in that style, look up the comps. Next, check for any flaws. Picked up a lot of things that I didn't necessarily see in the store that had a flaw that I was kind of stuck with now. And you can still sell things with flaws, you just need to put it in your description. but it is best to not pick up things with flaws. So that includes smelling the item. I know this is weird, especially if you pick up a blanket or wicker hold smell. Smell the item. If it has a smoke smell, it's going to be hard to get out, so I would recommend leaving that behind. There are so many times where I forget to smell an item because it's just not your first instinct. You get it home and it reeks of smoke, and you put all this effort into trying to get that smell out, and if you can't get it out, it's really frustrating and you feel like you lost a sale. Because I personally would not sell something that smells, at least knowingly, unless I do it on accident. So definitely look at that. And my last tip under what to look for category would be to do your research. So that means before you go to the thrift store, look up comps. You can look up comps of things that have been selling well lately in the home goods category or clothing. If you're looking for jeans, you can look up jeans that have sold the most lately. And also look up your style on Pinterest. If you like the bohemian style, look up what is popular right now. Look it up on Pinterest, on Instagram. Just try to focus on the decor pieces and how you could get dupes of that from a thrift store, and that should help your closet out a lot. Okay, moving on to a really big category, and this is shipping. You guys have had a lot of questions about shipping, so I made some points here and I'm gonna try to condense it and dumb it down, if you will. And I can do an entire separate video about shipping because there is so much to tell, but for now I'm just going to be giving you the basics, and I hope that's enough for you. I know that when I first started reselling, shipping was the most intimidating part to me just because it seems like a whole new world, but let me give you these basics and hopefully that will help. My first tip is to save all of your shipping supplies. So if you order things from Amazon often, or I don't know, anywhere, anything that comes in a box, save the box, save the wrapping, save the bubble wrap, save it all, maybe in your basement or a closet or something, because I promise, especially if you sell home goods, you're going to use all of that. So that's one way to get free shipping supplies. Another way is to order free shipping supplies off of USPS.com. If you go on their website, there's a tab that says shipping supplies and then free shipping supplies. And obviously those are all free. That's a huge resource for your business. And then obviously you'll have to order some more shipping supplies, but not a ton if you really just use USPS and recycle your boxes. If you have items that are really big that you want to ship and you don't have a box for it, the next cheapest place to get them would be Amazon if you order ahead of time. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, they have boxes, not huge ones. And then obviously Lowe's and Home Depot and Menards, places like that, they will have boxes that you can buy as well. And then shipping supplies like tape, I personally get mine at Costco because it is really cheap. You can get a huge pack, but in the past I have gotten them on Amazon as well. My tip for shipping fragile items, it is very hard to ship fragile items in my opinion. I've had several things break, but when I ship fragile items, I always ship them through USPS Priority, and that's like their main shipping service, because you have up to $50 of insurance. So, you know, save your receipt and all of that, and then if something breaks, you can submit a claim and they'll send you a check for how much the item is worth. And I have had them send me a check 3 times, 3 things have broken. It is a pain and it's really sad, especially to the seller, but you at least are covered and you at least get your money back. And another way that you can protect yourself other than doing bubble wrap is to go to Dollar Tree and get a pack of fragile stickers. They have them at our Dollar Tree. I'm not sure if everywhere, but you can always get them on Amazon or anything like that. But if you get a fragile sticker at the USPS location, you are going to have to pay for it. So I recommend going and buying some at Dollar Tree. Another tip I have when shipping something fragile is to try to pick a box that is just slightly bigger than the object that you're shipping. That way it doesn't have a lot of room to move around. Even if you pack it with bubble wrap, sometimes when it has a lot of room to move around, it has a lot of room to break. So definitely wrap it up and put it in a clear bag and put bubble wrap all around it so it can't really move around, and then hopefully that will help. But people who are shipping things don't always take the best care. I know that they're really busy and they're processing a lot of packages, but sadly things get broken a lot. I have 2 more major categories and then I'm going to be done. You can put any additional comments or questions that you may have down below and I will try to answer them. Category is going to be tips for selling on Poshmark. So since I recommend that, I wanted to give you guys a few tips on how to sell there. My first tip for selling on Poshmark is to take really light and bright photos. I personally recommend doing them on a plain white background because those images are usually recommended more by Poshmark and by Google because they're just simple white backgrounds. I don't know why, but that is a real thing. They are recommended more, so that's personally what I recommend. So you just take your photo and then you can edit it straight on your phone. You don't need any additional apps. You can edit it right in your camera roll, and I'm gonna insert a screen recording real fast on how I do that. The reason why I'm recommending this is because I think it's important. I personally, as a buyer, if I was searching for an item and there was one that was really dark, a really bad picture, and one that was really bright, a really good picture, even if it was more money, I would tend to go towards the one that is a brighter picture. It just makes you feel like the item is nicer and newer, so that's what I recommend. So a way that you can edit right on your phone, you just click edit, go on over to brightness, turn that all the way up, go to shadows, turn that up as well until you think it looks good. And that's the before and that's the after. Click done and you're ready to go. You have like a light, bright, beautiful picture. My next tip is to make sure that you describe any flaws in the description of your listing. And that includes saying a no smoking household, including any flaws. Obviously, if you think it's been shrunk, include that in there. Although you may not try to pick up items with flaws, it's going to happen probably on accident. So just make sure that you list any flaws. That's really important. And then also measure your items. That really helps a buyer because a lot of times they're going to ask, especially if they don't know how it fits. And for home goods, people want to know how big it is, if it's going to fit on a shelf or whatever. So describe any flaws and put the measurements in the listing. This will help you to sell more and sell more quickly without people asking questions. My next tip is to price items to sell. I know that this seems obvious, but sometimes people will price items too high and they will just sit in their closet for a long time. So really be aggressive with your pricing. If there are 3 other things out there listed for $50, maybe list yours at $40 or $45. So then you can have a quicker sale because you don't really want to be holding on to these items forever. That's not the point of reselling. Another tip for selling on Poshmark is to share your closet as many times as you can. So when you're on Poshmark, there will be a little button under your listing that says share. When you share, it puts your item at the top of a search. So if somebody is searching wicker basket and you just shared yours, yours is going to be at the top and obviously be seen more. So I really recommend doing that. If you can only share twice a week, do that. But I try to share every single day and I've seen such a huge increase in sales. My next tip for Poshmark is to be consistent. I know it can be hard, especially if you're doing this as a side job, but try to get listings up every single day, or try to share every single day. Being consistent like that really keeps action and movement on your closet a lot, making it more likely for your items to sell. And my last tip for Poshmark is to try not to get discouraged. Some months are just slow, whether you have 6 items listed or 500 items listed. Sometimes the months are slow and people just aren't buying. So stay consistent and stay positive because your closet will pick back up again. I wanted to address this question before I talk about the last category. Somebody did ask me, do you need a retail license to be a reseller? And it may be different in different states, but in my state you do not. because I'm reselling clothes. Now, if I wanted to also be a boutique, meaning I go to the apparel markets and buy clothes there that are brand new and sell them as a boutique, then I would need a resale license, but since I'm just reselling, I do not. Okay, the last category, and then that is it for this video. It is, how do I get started? So now that you have all of this information, how do you get started? And like I touched on before, you just have to get started. Start picking up items that you really love. Wait until you collect like at least 10 items and photograph them. Make sure the photos are bright and clean and beautiful and you have measurements, and then pick your platform and start listing. So like I said, I recommend Poshmark. So if that's the case, if you pick Poshmark, download the app, you know, upload a profile picture, all of that, and then start listing your items. I mentioned this before, but I highly recommend starting small. I don't recommend going out and buying 100 pieces of inventory because you may get overwhelmed. It is better to just start small and work your way up. And then also, I really recommend starting on one platform. Get really comfortable on that platform, get comfortable with shipping items out, and then maybe push yourself and move on to other platforms. Another way to get started after you have listed some items, like I mentioned before, do your research. Really be on the lookout to see what is trending right now, whether it be clothes or home goods, because I promise you most of the things that are trending had been trending years and years and years ago, and so you can find them at a thrift store. It is best to definitely post things that are trending. Look for the keywords to be using, like for example, a keyword that's really popular right now is Y2K, meaning year 2000. And people are really liking this style of clothing. So I've been putting that in some of my listings that pertain to that style, and that's helped increase my sales. So same thing with home goods, like bohemian style, or if brass is really popular right now, make sure you are looking that up and putting that in your listing. So doing research really does help you in the long run. And the last thing I want to say is just a little bit of encouragement. I know that everything can be scary to start. If you've been wanting to resell for a while, just start, because like I said, YouTube was really scary for me and I felt like I could make 100 different excuses why I shouldn't start, and I finally just started one day and I'm so thankful that I did. And with anything in life that you're going to do, you're going to just start and learn as you go. I mean, my very first pictures that I took on Poshmark, I can try to insert them here. I'm pretty sure I put a blanket on the ground, brought over my desk lamp in my college dorm, and took photos. They were really bad, really dark, not good photos, but I did it. I got started and I learned along the way. And researching and finding other YouTubers or finding other resellers on Instagram who share tips will definitely help you out. And just try to stay encouraged. Don't get discouraged by having bad sales just because you're just starting out. Which also brings me to mention, try not to compare yourself to others. A lot of resellers, I mean including myself, sometimes will share all the packages that they're shipping out, and it's easy to compare yourself to them thinking, oh wow, I only had one sale this week, or I've never sold that many packages in one time. But just keep in mind, they may have been doing it a lot longer than you, and you'll get to that point too one day. Just try to stay encouraged and always learning. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope that that was helpful. If you guys still have any questions, please comment them down below. I would love to answer them. I tried to gather all of the most asked questions, and I just hope that that was helpful. Also have to let me know down below if you are thinking about starting reselling. I can give you some encouragement in the comments, and be sure to follow me on Instagram. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye!